Welcome to teaching learning session of marketing. In today's lecture, we will discuss about the problem recognition, information gathering, evaluation of alternative, and post-purchase decision of consumer behavior. In our previous lectures, we discussed about the consumer behavior, how consumer behaves, how consumer takes a decision, how consumer takes a decision, what all external and the internal factors, that is the internal factors as well as the group influencer affects the decision of the consumer. And in today's topic, we'll discuss about the pre-purchase and the post-purchase decisions, right? Problem recognition, right? Problem recognition is an important stage of consumer decision making. See, it is very important that the problem should be recognized. If one cannot recognize the problem, then it becomes the decision could lead to a bad decision, right? Then there are the chances that it could lead to a bad decision. If problem is recognized well in advance, then it could result in this satisfaction, it could result in the good decision, that is in the satisfaction of the consumer, and your consumer can become a loyal consumer too. There are the chances, right? Or the consumer can prefer to buy the products of a particular brand, or would prefer to say it to the others, right? So problem recognition, there are these steps, there are these steps of problem recognition, that the problem recognition leads to the information search. Once a problem has been recognized, right, what product we need and why do we need, then consumers start searching for the information about that product, right? And then after information search, it leads to evaluation and the selection, right? And then it leads to a store choice and the purchase, and then it leads to a post purchase processes. After post purchase processes, then again it can lead to a problem recognition, whether my problem has been satisfied or met or not. If not, then again follow all these steps, right? And store choice and purchase can again lead to the information search. Suppose I have evaluated and selected the type of the product I want, and this led to the store choice and the purchase. After store choice and the purchase, I would like to know I would like to know much more about this store, right? And these dotted line represents the potential for a step back, like evaluation and selection then again lead to the information search, or information search again can lead to problem recognition, that I have recognized a problem, I have started looking for the information, then I realized no, my problem could be somewhat different, then again I went back, I might went back to the problem recognition
स्ट्रगल उसकी होती है जिसको
so this is a problem recognition, and it is an important stage of consumer decision making. It is very important that the first thing is that a problem should be recognized. This leads to the information search, this leads to the evaluation and the selection process, then it leads to the selection of store choice and the purchase, and this leads to the post purchase processes, right? There are the types of consumer decision. The first is the problem recognition and the purchase involvement, right? Consumer decision, the purchase involvement is the level of concern or interest in the purchase process. As we all know, what is purchase involvement? The name indicates purchase involvement is how much consumer is involved in the purchase process, right? It is the level of concern or interest in the purchase process, right? Triggered by need to consider a particular purchase, whether how that this purchase involvement is triggered by the need to consider a particular purchase, a temporary state influenced by the interaction of individual product and the situational characteristics. This purchase involvement is triggered by the need to consider a particular state, that is how much I need a product, and this is a temporary state and influenced by the interaction of individual product and the situational characteristics. Types of consumer decisions. Product involvement or enduring involvement is very different from the purchase involvement, right? A consumer may be very involved with brand or the product category but have a low purchase involvement due to brand loyalty and the time pressure. See, that is the product involvement is very different from the purchase involvement. I might be involved in the brand, that is see, a consumer may be very involved with brand, that is the that is the a well-known brand. The consumer might prefer to purchase a product of a well-known brand or a product category, but they have a low purchase involvement, right? Because of the brand loyalty or time pressure or the etc. So product involvement is very different from the purchase involvement. You might be involved in the product, you might like to know about the product or the brand, but not in the purchase involvement, that I would like to buy a product of a certain specific company, that is I am involved in the product, right? But not in the purchase involvement, because it could be because of the time pressure, because of brand loyalty, or because of any other thing, right? So purchase involvement influenced by the interaction of individuals, product, and situational characteristics, right? A purchase involvement, that it is that consumer might have low purchase involvement, and this purchase involvement is influenced by the interaction of individuals and the product and the situational characteristics, right? So it could be influenced by the many factors, like we discussed about the many factors, right? So purchase involvement may influenced by the various factors, that is by interaction of individual, product, and the situational characteristics. That is the form of involvement and the out of and the types of outcome. That is the habitual decision making. There are the type of involvement type could be habitual decision making, it could be the limited decision making, or extended decision making, right? See, purchase involvement and the type of risk in decision making, that is where there is a low purchase involvement, there is a low purchase involvement, that it is a habitual decision making or a limited decision making. Habitual, where customer is much the involvement of customer in purchase is low, then it could be a habitual decision making or a limited decision making, or a where customer is highly involved in the purchase decision, right? Or when there is a much purchase involvement, it could be because of extended decision making, right? What is habitual decision making? Habitual decision making in effect involves no decision per se. Go back to buy the same brand. What is the habitual decision making? We are habitual to purchase that same kind of a product of a same brand, right? Then that is a habitual decision making. Suppose a brand, right? We are habitual to have a same type of a bread of a same company, that this is habitual decision making. It does not need or require much purchase involvement, right? So it is a habitual type of a decision making. It involves, that is, it is like go back and buy the same product of same brand. Habitual decision occurs when there is a very low involvement with the purchase. A completely habitual decision does not even include the consideration of do not purchase alternative, right? A completely habitual decision does not even include consideration of do not purchase alternative. So it even this habitual decision making even does not include the consideration of do not purchase, right? We always consider just go and purchase the same product of a same brand. We don't even consider to do not purchase, right? We purchase the same type of a product of the same product, same brand. This is the habitual decision making, like example is bread, right? And then the limited decision making, right? Low decision making, that is the habitual. When it is a habitual decision making, it resulted in a low involvement, right? Low purchase involvement. Limited decision making involves internal and limited external searches, right? Few alternative, simple decision rules on few attributes and a little post purchase evaluation, right? Where there is a limited decision making, it involves very limited internal and external searches, right? We search about the product, right, but in a limited way, not very extensively. We want to have some products, suppose we want to have few things, say chapati wrapping rolls, right? So this involves an limited internal and external searches, few alternatives, and a simple decision rules on the basis of certain specific attributes, and a little post purchase evaluation, whether it was good or not, whether our needs were satisfied or not. So limited decision making involves few limited searches, few alternatives, simple decision rules on few attributes, and a little post purchase evaluation. Middle ground, it is a middle ground between the habitual and the extended decision making. It involves recognizing a problem for which there are several possible solutions, right? That is, decision is based, suppose decision is based on buying the cheapest roll, right? I want to have a product which could be cheap, right? The cheapest roll. Suppose a chapati wrapper, or I want a foil to wrap the chapatis, right? So I might not involve myself for much in this, I might not involve much in getting the information, search for the more alternatives. Few, if I have few alternatives, I will take the simple decision on the basis of few attributes. It could be the thickness, or it could be price, right? And there will be little post purchase evaluation, and this limited decision making is in between the habitual and extended decision making. Now extended decision making, then again limited decision making, low purchase involvement. Extended decision making involves extensive internal and external searches, followed by a complex evaluation of multiple alternatives. It is response to a high level of purchase involvement. During post purchase evaluation, doubts are likely and thorough evaluations takes place, right? In extended decision making, we suppose we want to purchase, suppose I want to purchase diamonds, then it will involve an extended decision making, right? I'll not go and buy any ornament like this from any of the jewelers, right? It will involve an extensive internal and external searches, and these searches were followed by evaluation of multiple alternatives. What alternatives could I have, right? And it is a response of a high purchase involvement, right? Consumer will spend much of the time and will involve himself or herself in the purchase involvement. I'll not give money to someone, go and take that as go and bring that product for me, right? If I want to buy some gold or jewelry, right, then it will be extended decision making. I'll inquire extensively, right, and will for and will and this extensive search will be followed up the evaluation of the multiple alternatives, and it will involve a high purchase involvement will be there, and then the post purchase evaluation would be there. And if I have any doubts, right, then post purchase, whether my needs have been satisfied or not, whether I'm happy with that product or not. And if I'm happy with the product and my needs have been met, then I might go back to the same jeweler again. So this is an extended decision making. In extended decision making, if there is any extended decision making, then it involves much purchase involvement. So purchase involvement is more in this, right? Purchase involvement, right? Like in habitual decision making, that says problem recognition is selective, right? We don't pay much attention for the problem recognition. We need a bread, we that is it. We don't pay much attention whether we need a bread of a bun, whether we need a bread of a harvest, or whether we should buy a bread of a Britannia. That hardly matters to us, right? Then there was a limited information search. We go and make the purchases. Post purchase, no dissonance, very limited evaluation, right? And in limited decision making, problem recognition will be generic. Problem recognition will be generic. Information search, limited information search, whether it is internal or external, right? Alternative evaluation will be there on the basis of few alternatives. Simple decision rules will be applied, right? And then we make the purchases, and post purchases, no dissonance or limited evaluation. And in extended decision making, in habitual decision making, low purchase involvement will be there, and in limited decision making, somewhat purchase involvement will be there, but not much. In high purchase involvement, in extended decision making, high purchase involvement will be there. That is, problem recognition will be generic. Information search from the external sources as well as from the internal sources. Alternative evaluation will be on the many attributes, right? Complex decisions rules will be applied to take a decision, many alternatives. Then there will be purchase and the post purchase dissonance, and the complex evaluation will be there, right? The process of problem recognition. What is the nature of problem recognition? Problem recognition is a result of a gap between the desired state and the actual state, sufficient to arouse and activate the decision process. What is problem recognition? What is problem recognition is actually a result of a gap. It is a gap between the desired state and the actual state. The difference between a desired state and the actual state, sufficient to arouse and activate the decision process, right? The actual state, what is the actual state? Actual state is the way individual perceives his or her feelings and situation to be at the present time. And the desired state is the way an individual wants to feel or be at the present time. That is the desired state. Am I right? What is the actual state? Actual state is the way the individual perceives his or her feelings and situation to be at the present time. Feelings, needs, want at the present time, and the desired state is the way individual wants to feel or be at the present time. That is the actual state and the desired state. And this gap between the actual state and the desired state is actually responsible to arouse and activate the decision process. This is the thing, and I want this, and this is the problem. This is the problem recognition. It is a result. Problem recognition is a result of gap between the actual state and the desired state. Actual state means the present situation, and the desired state is what a consumer really wants. Process. This is a process of problem recognition, right? See, desired consumer lifestyle, what a consumer wants, right? The way the consumer would like to feel, what I want. A desired state is it leads to the desired state, the condition of consumer would like to be in at this point of time. What is desired by the consumer, right? And it would lead to nature of discrepancies, difference between the consumer desired and perceived condition, right? There are two states, that desired consumer lifestyle and the current situation, what I want to be, what I feel like to, right? And current situation is temporary factor affecting the consumer. I would like to purchase this, but I don't, I would, this is my desire, I would like to purchase this X product, but my current situation is I am not able to buy that X product, rather than that I can afford only Y type of a product. So this is the current situation, the temporary factor affecting the consumer. It could be anything, it could be money, it could be it could be the price, the product, or anything else, right? So desired consumer lifestyle and the current situation, and the current situation leads to the actual state, the condition the consumer perceived him or herself to be in at this point, right? So this gap between the current situation and the desired situation, that is the problem recognition. And then this leads to a nature of discrepancy, that is difference between the consumer desired and perceived condition, right? I would like to buy this product, but could not afford buy X product, but can afford Y product, but I don't want to buy that Y product. And this leads to the nature of discrepancy, that is difference between the consumer desired and the perceived conditions. And now this leads to many things, like if there is no difference between the desired consumer desired and the current situation, the actual situation and the desired situation, then it leads to satisfaction. If there is no difference, then it leads to satisfaction, right? If there is a difference between the desired state and the actual state, and the desired state exceeds the actual state, it leads to problem recognition. Or if actual state exceeds the desired state, again it leads to the problem recognized and search decision initiated, right? In case, suppose I want to have a X product, but I can afford Y product, but I don't want to have a Y product, right? And then the marketing strategy for this type of a problem is that only require marketer to convince consumer that it is a brand is superior solution, that our product, our brand can solve your problem easily. And inactive problem is one of which consumer is not aware, right? Marketer must convince a consumer that they have a problem and that their brand is a superior solution. See, if problem is active type of a problem, that is consumer is aware about the problem, right? Or will become aware of the problem, the only marketing strategy for that type of problem is that the marketer has to just to convince the consumer that brand is superior solution for their problem. And inactive problem is where then the marketer must convince the consumer that they have the problem, uh, and their brand could provide a solution to their problem, right? Types of the consumer problems and action required. Some types of problems are the routine problems, that is, it is expected, required immediate solutions. And few are emergency problems, not expected, required immediate solutions. Planning problems, that is expected, don't require the immediate solution. Or evolving problem is not expected, don't require immediate solution. So there are various types of the solution, right? Where there are various non-marketing factors affecting the problem recognition. So where various factors impacts, we discussed about the various factors, right, in our previous lectures, where there are various actually non-marketing factors, right, which affects the problem recognition, right? Like factors like the desired state and the actual state, both states are affected by various factors. Like in desired state, the cultural and the social class, we would like to maintain a class, or in case we want to upgrade our class, right? So cultural and social class. It could be the reference group, which impacts our desired state. We would like, reference group is that whom we take as a reference, or we would like to be that group, right? That is the reference group. that is the desired state, we would like to be like that group. Household characteristics could be another factor which impacts the desired state. Financial status and expectations, right? And previous decision impact the desired state, whether we have taken a right decision or wrong decision, again it impacts the desired state. Then the individual development impacts the desired state. Motives, emotions and situation impacts the desired state, right? Or there are other factors which impacts the actual state, the past decision, right? The previous decision impact the desired state as well as it impacts the actual state. Normal depletion, actual state. Product or brand performance, right? It impacts the actual state, whether we are satisfied with the product or the brand or not, right? Individual development impacts the actual state, right? Emotions impact the desired state as well as actual state. Consumer or government groups impact the actual state. Availability of product, we would like to have product, have particular product we have, but if that product is not available, so availability of product impacts the actual state, and the situation impacts the desired as well as actual state, right? So a desired state could be equals to actual state, it could be less than, or it could be greater than, right? Factors that influences the desired state: cultural or social class, importance of, suppose importance of cleanliness, reference group, a change after graduation, family or household is a like family brand, change in financial status, that is retrenchment, previous purchase decision, individual development, motives, right? And emotion seeks a positive experience, the situations. Actual state, we discussed about the actual state. So problem recognition, what is the problem recognition? Problem recognition is a gap between the desired state and the actual state, and that gap is the problem recognition. If there is a gap, that is known as the problem recognition, that what we want and what we could have, or what is available, what we want, what is available, or what we want or what we can have, right? That is the problem recognition, right? Evaluating and selecting the alternatives. So see, before this, after this uh, problem recognition, what consumer do is consumer search for the information. Could be information search could be on the basis of say external sources or from the internal sources, right? There are various sources from which the consumer gets the information. External, like internal sources, from family members, from friends group, for peers, from others. Mouth publicity matters a lot, right? So we get the information from various sources. External sources like advertisements plays an important role. It provides us most of the information, right? Whether it is a published advertisement, or whether we see advertisement on TV or radio, or hoardings, right? Advertisement plays an important role. Then that again sales promotion plays an important role in information gathering. So there we get the information about the product. After recognizing a problem, we start gathering the information about the product or the brand, and there are various sources from which we get the information. It could be various external sources as well as the internal sources, right? And after getting much of the information, we start evaluating and selecting the alternatives. Now we have information about X type of about we have n options for our problem, right? We have n solutions for our problem. Then now we have to evaluate and select an alternative. This is what the process is, right? Right. This is after gathering the information, getting the information, we evaluate the alternatives, right? And select the alternatives. evaluation, there could be various evaluation criterias on the basis of which we can evaluate our decision. It could be on the basis of price, right? It could be on the basis of brand or the country of origin, right? Suppose I want to purchase a product, right? And now I have recognized my problem, right? And I have starting gathering the information. Suppose I want to purchase an AC, right? After problem recognition, I have started searching for the ACs of the various companies and the brand, right? And I get the information from the various, I get the input or the information from the various alternate, from the various sources. It could be external sources or internal sources, right? And that is from my friends, my family members, my colleagues, or from others. As well as I'll go through the various blogs, articles, advertisements, their material, and will visit various shops and will try to get the information, right? After getting the information, suppose now I have five alternatives. Now I will have to evaluate those alternatives, and this is also known as, this evaluation is also known as the feasibility study, whether this solution is possible or not. And there could be various evaluation criteria. The first criteria could be price, yes, and marketing, this plays an important role. Price. Suppose there are, now I have five option. Now I will evaluate on the basis of the price, right? The price of the product varies from, and how much difference is there on the price, and is what the difference, if there is a difference in the prices, right? Is it what, whether the price what are the, then it could be the brand name, right? Suppose if the product of some X brand is costing more than the Y brand, and X is a well known brand, then I can feel like that I can go for this. So price, first thing, the first criteria could be price. If consumer is price sensitive, they will evaluate on the price, on the basis of price. If consumer is brand sensitive, they will evaluate on the basis of brand. And at times country of origin even matters, right? What is the country of origin, whether we would like to purchase the product from that country, or from a product of that country or not, right? So country of origin matters. And if consumer is price as well as brand name as well as country of origin sensitive, then again this could be evaluation criteria for any of the consumers, right? Then there are the determinants of the criteria. There are various determinants of the criteria on the basis of which we evaluate. Measurement of evaluation criteria, right? That is, identify the important criteria. It is very important that one should identify the important criteria. What is important for me, whether price is important for me, brand is important for me, country of origin is important for me, or some other features are important for me, right? So identify the important criterias. Then perception of each product for these, and alternative performance of each product. It is important that we should evaluate the performance of the each product, right? How, there are certain important identified criteria. Even after that, it is very important that we should evaluate on the basis of performance of the product, right? If the product of some brand that is not performing well in the market, maybe I could be loyal to that brand, but again it is very important that performance that I should evaluate on the basis of the performance, right? Evaluation of alternative, that is determining the alternatives, right? What all alternatives are available, evaluating the alternatives, right? Then I have to decide what type of a product, or with which product or with which brand I would like to go, right? It could be there are the certain decision rule like non-compensatory rule, compensatory rule, constructive, and the phased decision rule, right? Then again the marketing implications are there. right? How consumer makes a choices. Now we have evaluated our brands. Now I have to make a choice. Now I have evaluated the product, right? Out of five, I have taken out the three. Now I have to choose out of those three. How consumer makes a choice, the one thing is through from rational choice theory. The rational choice theory assumes that consumer has sufficient skills to calculate which option will maximize his or her value and will choose on the basis, right? So according to the rational theory, that consumer is that consumer has a sufficient skills, or consumer is intelligent enough, that consumer is intelligent enough and have skills to calculate the options that will maximize his or her value. They are logical, they are rational. According to this theory, the consumer is rational, logical, right? Have skills to calculate the option that will maximize his or her value, and on the basis of this they chooses the product. The task is to identify or discover the one optimal choice. The decision maker collect the information levels of attribute across alternative, applies the appropriate choice rule, and superior option is revealed. So this theory states that the consumer is intelligent enough and has skills to calculate the options, right? They collect the information, right? And then they applies the appropriate choice rule, and then superior option is revealed, right? In reality, all consumers have bounded rationality, a limited capacity of processing information. That is no doubt. We all have a limited capacity of processing information. Whatever information we can gather, but being a human being, we have a limited capacity of processing information. So, although the rational choices theory states that they are capable enough and could evaluate on the basis of could evaluate on the basis of requirements, right? They can calculate the option that will maximize their value. But again, every human being has have a bounded rationality, that is a limited capacity of processing and information. Consumer often have goals that are different from or in addition to selecting the optimal alternatives. Again there could be consumer can have goals which are different from or could have more goals of selecting the alternative optimal alternatives. Suppose I have optimal alternative, I can calculate my value and I can choose the optimal alternative, which could be different from that or could have more goals than that, right? So a meta goal refers to generate a nature of outcome being sought. So it is that is although consumer is rational, but they have bounded rationality and they have meta goals, right? They have meta goals. So how consumer make a choices, that there are three types of consumer choices processes, that is the affective choice, attitude based choice, and attribute based choice. So consumer can choose on the basis of affective or attitude or attribute based. What is affective choice? Affective choices tend to be more holistic. Brand not decomposed into distinct components for separate evaluation. Evaluation generally focus on how they will make the user feel as they are used, right? So affective choice, that is the affective choice tend to be more holistic, right? Brand not decomposed into distinctive components for separate evaluation, right? They don't go for the separate evaluation. Evaluation generally focus on how they will make the user feel, right, as they are used. So this is how that product or the brand will make the user feel. That is the affective choice, right? Choices are often based primarily on the immediate emotional response to the product or services. When we feel like we would like to have that, how that product or that brand make us feel like, right? And the affective choices is um, the affective choices most likely under the consummatory motives like um, underlies the behavior that are instinctively rewarding to the individual involved, or instrumental motives activates the behavior designed to achieve a second goal, right? So there could be consummatory motives or the instrumental motives in effective choices. Consummatory motives is that are instinctively rewarding to the individual involved, or it could be instrumental motive that activates the behavior designed to achieve a second goal, right? So attribute now another is attribute based and the attitude based choices, right? So attribute based choices requires the knowledge of the specific attributes at the time the choice is made, and it involves by attribute comparison across brands. Attribute is what? Characteristics, right? So when you are making a choice on the basis of attributes, then it is required that you should have knowledge about the specific attributes at the time choice is made, and it involves attribute by attribute comparison across the brand, that what is the characteristic of a particular product of a particular brand, and you should be able to compare the attributes with the other with the similar type of a product of other brand, right? And attitude based choice is what? It involves use of general attitude, right? Like summary impressions, intuitions, or heuristics. No attributes by attribute comparisons are made at the time of choice. So attitude base is it is generally based on the attitudes or the intuitions or the impressions, right? Attribute based versus attitude based choice processes, that is it is based on the motivation, inflexibility, and the situational factors interact to determine which choice process will be used. Example is, the easier it is to access complete attribute by brand information, the more likely attribute processing will be used. So brand with the attribute advantage but lacking strong reputation should provide attribute comparison in an easy to process format in their marketing and packaging. So any brand which has a better attributes, right, then their competitors, that brand have an attribute advantage but lack in the reputation, so that brand should use the attribute comparison and easy to process format in marketing and packaging. How your brand is different or better than the your competitors brand, how, what are the characteristics of your product or the brand, right? Now many decision, even the important product, appear to be the attitude based. Attribute based occurs on the basis of the attribute or the characteristics, but many decisions, even of the most important type, depends on the attitude based. Right? The marketer's attitude based is that is on the basis of your attitude, your perception, your summary, your choices, and all that. So at this, the marketers have dual task. That is, they provide the promotion that resonate with the consumer making attitude based choices, and provide performance and supporting information to create preferences for consumer making attribute based choice, right? Evaluation, so there are various evaluation criterias, various dimensions, features, or benefits. sought in response to a specific problem. Most decision involve an assessment of one or more evaluation criteria. So there could be there could be one or more evaluation criteria. It could be on the basis of features, it could be on the basis of benefits, it could be on the basis of brand, it could be on the basis of price, it could be on the basis of packaging. So there could be one or millions, right, evaluation criterias, right? Evaluation criteria are typically product feature or attributes associated with either benefits desired by the customer or cost they must incur. So that is, it is typically that is evaluation criteria are typically product feature or attribute associated with their benefits. Evaluation criteria could either be on the basis of the feature or the characteristics or the attribute or the benefits desired by the customer, or on the cost of the product, right? Evaluation criteria can differ in the type, number, and importance, right? Alternative evaluation and selection process. This is a alternative evaluation and the selection process, right? There are the evaluative criterias on what basis you would like to evaluate the product or the brand. It could be, as we said, it could be on the basis of attribute, it could be on the basis of price, it could be on the basis of packaging, it could be any other basis. Then the importance of criteria, or it could be on the basis of one or more criterias, right? Then the importance of criterias plays an important
कहे
भगवान का एक